Hello, I'm Matt Hatton, one of the founding partners at Transformer Insights. We are here at the IoT M2M Council booth at CES 2025, and I'm joined by Stephen Payne, who is the Director of Business Development at Giesecke and Devrient.
Correct.
Did you like my pronunciation?
It was very good.
Thank you very much. I've been practicing. Stephen, it's good to see you here. What a way to kick off 2025. We're going to be talking a little bit about IoT connectivity. From our perspective as analysts, we think that there's never been a time when there's been more change going on in the connectivity space, and I think that'll be an interesting topic to delve into.
Right.
First thing I want to ask you about, end users. How are the adopters, what are the trends that you're seeing amongst adopters of IoT in terms of how they're seeing the wireless IoT connectivity space?
I think when you work with companies that have a lot of experience and have done this for a while, they're being a lot more proactive as you see things changing, especially in a 5G world, right? They've been through 3G to 4G. So now as they get ready for new technologies such as RedCap, companies really preparing ahead of time on what's their strategy, how are their devices going to connect, what sort of battery consumption, if it's a battery powered device, do I need to be concerned about in that space? Secondly, I really see more customers moving away from some of the complexity sometimes you get with your connectivity and your solutions, and they want one option, they want it to work, and they may even want it to work without even provisioning themselves, right? Pre-provisioned connectivity. And it makes, in factory a little bit quicker, but certainly makes it a lot more less complex, especially if it's maybe something that might be sold to a consumer.
Yep. So there's two aspects to that, and I'd like to dig into those a little bit if we may. So effectively, maybe a better understanding of what some of the complexities are of sort of moving from generation to generation in terms of the technologies, and an awareness of that as a factor. But that's then also coupled with a desire to not have to worry about some of the complexity that's out there as well. So there's a bit of a contradiction in there.
There is.
I guess.
I think you can look at it two ways. One, customers that are looking to transition from Cat 1, Cat 4, Cat 16 type solutions into RedCap, they know that there's multiple factors. There's hardware considerations, there's design considerations, there's also the consideration of when is that network actually going to be available, and matching all of that up with your timeline of building a full solution for your customer is definitely probably the more complex part. On the back end, 5G still has a lot of operational elements that look like 4G. So once those align, I think the actual aspect of getting those devices connected and managing the life cycle of those devices is the easier part of that equation.
So for those at home who are not so familiar with 5G and the various technologies in there, RedCap is reduced capability, right? So this is a kind of toned down version of 5G to allow it to have a longer battery life, more appropriate for IoT solutions. That I've kind of characterized that right, I guess?
You definitely don't want to build every device with a full-blown 5G, super fast type modem, right? Nor do you need that speed, right? So reduced capability gives you some cost effectiveness on your hardware, but it also allows the carriers to really concentrate on what that capacity is going to look like on their network. So certainly anytime you're measuring out a BOM of a device, right, getting just the right stuff in there is definitely something you want to do.
Yeah, absolutely. And of the trends that you're seeing in the space, which do you think will be the most influential, important in 2025? And what's G&D doing to address those?
So, there's lots of buzzwords you hear every year when you come to shows like this. AI and blockchain was a couple of years ago.
Where would we be without all of those buzz phrases?
Satellite connectivity is certainly a big buzz in the IoT community. With Release 17 giving you some of that specs on how you can do some traditional cellular type devices with a satellite backup, I think you're really going to see that take off. And where we as G&D really feel that's going to be important is when you've got a device that needs to go out in the field somewhere and you're not exactly sure what it's going to be, taking some of the new eSIM technologies like SGP32, pairing some of those initial connectivity profiles with a satellite profile, just in case you go deploy and there is no traditional cellular, right? You can at least determine, I have no cellular, maybe you can swap it to a different profile and try something different because you've got that connectivity over satellite. So I really think that as some of the modules come on board, some of the complexities around building that type of solution hybrid into the cell network, that's going to be a really neat thing for IoT this year, because certainly not every device has the capability to store all of its data and wait for a connection. A lot of the things that are being built today are real time. So having that capability to communicate when you need to is very important.
So if I can sum up across both of those two things, you mentioned the non-terrestrial networks, the satellite connectivity, and also eSIM. It's kind of about redundancy, right? In both cases, with the satellite connectivity where you haven't got cellular coverage, with eSIM to be able to connect to switch networks depending on what's available, right? So it's sort of simplifying the process for end customers by providing them this sort of redundancy.
It simplifies everything. I mean, if you go back 5-10 years, there were a lot of devices being made that had 2 SIM slots, and you put 2 carriers in them because you're like, cross my fingers, I can find one, right?
Sure.
And even if you didn't, you still had to truck roll, touch a device out in the field, and fix it. eSIM for IoT SGP32 is really going to allow you that seamless connectivity, even if you're on satellite, to be able to swap those profiles and remotely administrate that device to ensure that it meets your benchmark for connectivity.
Final question, you had a product announcement earlier on this week. Can you tell me a little bit about that?
Yes, earlier this week we officially announced our new Smart Label product, and it is a LTM connected shipping label, and it's built for high-end goods. It's built for form factors that traditional tracking devices don't really fit, but most importantly, it is a disposable one-time device. And what that really allows you to do is lose in your supply chain that reverse logistics worry of getting things from A to B, and now I need everything back that helped me get it there so I can start over, right? So it's a one-time cost, no reversal logistics, it's cellular, and most importantly, it's independently collecting GNSS data, so the location is very accurate. It's not using trilateration off of the cell sites.
Okay, and I'm not here to plug your product, but I would say pretty much end-to-end G&D technology supporting that product, right?
Correct.
Hardware, connectivity.
That is correct.
The whole stack, right?
Yes.
Okay, good stuff. Stephen Payne, G&D, thank you very much.
Thank you. Have a great day.